Hey everybody, Dan Ward here, and welcome to the introduction to the TRIZ Prism. In this video, we're going to talk about a really interesting tool that helps teams come up with creative solutions to hard problems, the TRIZ Prism. We generally use this tool when we have a hard problem in mind and we can't see an easy path to a specific solution. So before you use TRIZ, you may want to use the problem framing canvas to develop a clear problem statement. That problem statement becomes the input for step 1 in the lower left corner of this slide. Okay, here's a real problem I worked on in the early 2000s. We had some huge satellite image files and we had to very quickly send them to highly mobile special ops troops running around in Afghanistan who had extremely limited bandwidth. It was a really hard problem with a lot of tough constraints, and it wasn't clear what a solution might even look like. So as you can see here in step 1 is to describe your problem very specifically. The more specific, the better. Now in step 2, we strip out all the particulars from that problem statement and we replace them with generalities. So in this example, instead of talking about satellite image files and limited comm pipes, we talked about moving something big through something small. And it turns out translating a specific problem into a general problem statement often helps mentally move us into an open mode where we can imagine a wider range of possible solutions because we're not too focused on or distracted by those constraints and conventions of the specific problem. Now, in step 3, we begin describing our general approach to the general type of problem we described in the previous step. So in this case, how do we push something big through something small? How can we get an elephant through a soda straw? Can we maybe divide the elephant into pieces? What if we had larger straws? Or do they make small elephants we could use? Maybe we could use more than one straw. Once you've got a collection of general solutions, it's time to reintroduce the specifics of the problem. So here's where we convert elephants back into image files and soda straws back into communication pathways. In our case, we sort of used a modified version of option A. Turns out the deployed troops didn't need the whole elephant. They just needed part of the elephant. So in this case, we figured out a way to let them draw a polygon on a digital map and request a small image chip that they could download quickly because we discovered they didn't need the whole image, the whole elephant in the first place. So here it all is on a single chart. Now, I should mention that this might look fairly obvious in hindsight, but in practice, it's often harder than it looks. So don't get discouraged if you don't come up with a creative solution right away, or if you feel stuck at different steps. That's often part of the process. 2 tips to make it easier are teamwork and iteration. So this works best if you've got a group of people all working together, and if none of you expect to get it 100% right on the first try. Okay, that's the TRIZ Prism. You can learn more about it and download templates at the link on your screen.